guys, welcome back to Brownble.com. I'm Kim and today we have our very first Q&A. You sent us your questions and we're going to answer them. Now, if you have any questions of your own, don't forget to send them to us. You can ask them right below in the comments. You can use the hashtag AskBrownble on Twitter or on Instagram. And you can head on over to Brownble.com and send us an email with any of your questions and we're gonna make a video for you. In today's Q&A, we're going to be talking about the differences between yeast, baking powder, baking soda, the differences between evaporated cane sugar and regular white sugar. We are going to be talking about sushi and making sushi at home, especially what vinegar to dress your sushi rice with. And we're gonna be talking about pizza and bread dough. It's gonna be yummy. Let's get started. For our first question, somebody asked, what is the difference between yeast used for bread and baking powder, and which one do I need for pizza dough? So the first thing you need to know is that these are completely different. Baking powder is a little more similar to baking soda, but there are still some differences. So baking soda reacts in the presence of an acid, so it creates carbon dioxide, which makes things rise, and that's perfect for cakes and pancakes and things like that. Baking powder already has those acidic ingredients incorporated into it, so that's why it really keeps on rising in the oven. And this again is used for cakes and for cookies, for pancakes, any of these kinds of things. But for bread or pizza dough, you really need dry active yeast. This is completely different. You want to store your yeast in the refrigerator, and yeast develops in the presence of warm water and also a little bit of sugar. So it really kind of bubbles to the surface, and this is what makes your bread and your pizza dough rise, but it also gives you that nice bread aroma. For our second question, somebody asked, I've seen you use evaporated cane sugar in all of your sweet recipes. What is the difference between this and regular white granulated sugar? This is a great question, and really evaporated cane sugar, which is slightly golden in color, is really the first step before you get white sugar in the refining process. So this is a much less refined version of sugar, but it sweetens the same and it doesn't have that molasses taste that brown sugar has. So this is really what I prefer to use in all my desserts, and anytime I want to add something sweet, it still maintains some of the nutrients and it doesn't go through the same refining process as white sugar. Our third question asks, what exactly is buttermilk? Can you make it vegan, and can you make it at home? And the answer is yes and yes. You can make it at home really easily. Vegan buttermilk is simply non-dairy milk combined with an acid. This can be lemon juice, but my favorite is apple cider vinegar. So all you have to do to make buttermilk is take some non-dairy milk. My favorite is soy milk because it's nice and thick. And you're going to add, depending on the recipe, between 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, even 1 tablespoon or 2, depending on what you're making, of apple cider vinegar. You whisk that together and you're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes. That's gonna curdle that milk slightly, and that's what creates buttermilk. This makes your beautiful pancakes and cakes rise, and it gives a lovely velvety texture. And don't forget to check out our video. If you're a member at Brownble, we have our fluffy buttermilk pancakes, which are a dream. And this is a great way to practice making buttermilk at home. Our fourth question asks, when making sushi at home, which vinegar should I use to season it? So this is a great question. There are many types of vinegar out there. First of all, you need rice vinegar. This is the traditional way of making sushi rice. If you've never made sushi at home, you really need to cook the rice, sushi rice, and then you have to season it with vinegar and some other ingredients. So the main place where people make a mistake with the rice is there are two different types of rice vinegar out there. There is plain rice vinegar and there is seasoned sushi rice vinegar. The seasoned sushi rice vinegar has vinegar that has been combined with salt and sugar, and that is something that you can directly add to the rice. You don't need to add any other ingredients. But if you're using only the rice vinegar, you need to make a preparation with some sugar and some salt. However, I know this sounds like a little extra step, but making your own is the difference to making delicious sushi. I prefer to make mine adding that combination of the sugar and the salt instead of buying the ready-made sushi vinegar. It has kind of a little bit of a different taste. So make your own. I like to buy my rice vinegar at a health food store. It's brown rice vinegar and it's absolutely delicious. Your sushi rice will turn out perfectly. There's a lot of pizza and bread making going on around here because we've received another pizza question. So where do you store your pizza or bread dough while it rises? This is very important because yeast loves warm, cozy places, and usually this type of preparation requires 1 to 2 hours of rising time, and you want to place your bowl of dough in a nice warm place to have it rise properly. So my favorite place, if it's the winter time and our radiators are on, is next to the radiators. These emit enough heat to keep it kind of rising beautifully. So I just pull up a chair, plop a bowl covered with plastic, of course, next to it, and this is a perfect place. You can also warm up your oven a little bit beforehand, then turn it off and put it inside your oven. But any place that is nice and warm, and in the summertime, you'll have no problem with it rising, that's the best choice. Thanks so much for all your cooking questions, everyone. Remember, you can ask us anything about veganism, cooking, getting organized in the kitchen. We'll answer it for you in our next video. All right, I'll see you very soon. Head on over to brownble.com for more delicious content.